let's look at some violent clashes that happened in Tamale. Now, the chairman of the Northern Regional Security Council, Salifu Said, has assured that the instigators of yesterday's military and police violence will be severely punished. He says it is unacceptable for the two security agencies to pick up arms and confront each other on the street. Mr. Said said this when he led a delegation comprising of senior security officers from the Ministry of Defense and Interior to brief journalists after a meeting with the police and the military. Hashmin Mohammed, our correspondent, joins me on the telephone lines now for more. Hello, Hashmin.
Hello, Gifty.
Hashmin, what more did this meeting discuss?
Well, the Northern Regional Minister who led the team met with the various security agencies, the police and the military, and after which the media were briefed about the outcome of the meeting. Now, a while ago, the two sister security agencies just finalized a favor at the Tamale Jubilee Park, where their personnel came together and they have all pledged their commitment to work together for the interests of Ghana and then for Northern region. Each one of them have pledged that they will talk to their men and ensure that the violent incident that occurred yesterday will not happen again.
Well, making sure that what happens does not recur is quite different from what punishing those who have in any way broken the law. Did the minister give any clear indication about exactly what's going to happen to those who may be found culpable?
Well, he said the Regional Security Council have put up a team to investigate the incident, and he's given the assurance that personnel who were involved in the incident will be severely dealt with. And then the leadership of the various security personnel who also ordered their men to go onto the street and commit that crime will also be punished. And he is making a move to have those personnel out of the region for the safety of for the interest of the peace of the region.
Yesterday we spoke about how the residents there are reacting to this unfortunate incident, which actually isn't the first. What has been the reaction between yesterday and today? What has been the reaction and what has been the mood, especially with the police there?
Well, proud to their engagement this evening. A lot of the residents were traumatized with the incident that happened, and they left with a lot of confidence the two security agencies. But with their engagement at the Tamale Jubilee Park, they are free inspired confidence in the general public that they are ready to protect them and provide security. Yesterday, the Operation Calm Life was affected, but we are now getting the assurance that the two security agencies will be patrolling the metropolis again this evening for the Operation Calm Life. You remember, crime rate has reduced drastically in the region ever since the Operation Calm Life was launched by the Regional Security Council. But because of the feud yesterday, the two of them couldn't patrol in yesterday's incident because my checks at various points as of yesterday indicated that they never showed up. But now the beef is over. If we are going to take the assurance that they have all given at the Tamale Jubilee Park, where the general public also witnessed it, then that means that residents can go about their normal duty with the two security agencies ready to provide security for them.
Well, that must be very not so less of a dangerous situation for the people living with no security whatsoever. But how are the police officers who were injured yesterday faring? Do you know?
Yes, I visited the Tamale Teaching Hospital this morning, and I also spoke to the leadership of the police, and I am told they have all been discharged and they are recuperating.
Hashmin, could you say that again?
All of them have been discharged from the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and they are at their various homes, and we are told that they will be going back to duty very soon.
All right, Hashmin, thank you very much for that update. Hashmin Mohammed there, who has been monitoring a Regional Security Council meeting that was held earlier today in the northern region following those violent clashes between soldiers and police officers there. We understand from the minister who heads the Security Council there that persons found culpable, and indeed persons who were involved in that, plus their leadership, which allowed them to do so, will all be punished severely. We'll bring you any more details on that story from the northern region. Now, the Speaker of Parliament, and we're returning to our previous story about the northern region. The Speaker of Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, has directed the Defence and Interior Ministers to brief the House on yesterday's police and military clash in the northern region.
It's so important. Assembly members.
Next Tuesday, and appraise the House of these developments and measures being taken to arrest and prevent same from ever occurring.
Professor Michael Quay there. Well, Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu, who is also Member of Parliament for Tamale South, has described the situation as worrying and unfortunate, and is also demanding parliamentary action.
Indeed, Mr. Speaker, a first of it happened March 26th in Tamale around the Agric Development Bank Road. And Mr. Speaker, I'm inviting you so that the Honourable Minister for Defence and the Minister for Interior will be obliged to come before this House to assure the public that we are safe and secured, and in particular that the people of Tamale have no reason to want to live in fear and panic. And that, Mr. Speaker, a breakdown of law and order can be a recipe for lawlessness, apart from the fact that it will lead to, which I suspect is beginning to, the erosion of public and civil confidence in the security agencies to maintain law and order in the country and to safeguard our territorial integrity. Mr. Speaker, I'm therefore inviting you.
Minority Leader Haruna Idrisu there. His motion was supported by Deputy Majority Leader Adjoa Safo.
Appropriate ministers, the Minister for Interior, Minister for Defence, and the Minister for National Security should actually come to the House properly and brief us on how they intend to deal with this matter, because it is very, very worrying, Mr. Speaker. So I humbly submit that you pass or you give out the appropriate directives in this direction so that the House can be properly briefed. And the member of Parliament for the area, who doubles up as the minority leader, would also be seen by his people as also responding to very, very serious security threats in the area. So, Mr. Speaker, we very much are in support that the substantive ministers in their respective areas be brought before this House to brief it accordingly.
Deputy Majority Leader Sarah Adjoa Safo there. Let's get some more from Parliament. Elton Bobe is standing by. Elton, when are the ministers expected to come to the House?
Well, the directive says that it should be in the House on Tuesday to brief the House on what happened, the circumstances that led to the clashes between the police and the military, and steps that the two ministers will take or may have taken to prevent a repeat of what happened yesterday. So those were the directive that the Speaker provided on the floor, and on Tuesday we expect them to brief the House and then respond accordingly to the two issues that the Speaker pointed out.
Were there any other issues discussed? This is actually not the first time we understand that this has happened in the northern region. This is about the third time. Were there any further discussions about these issues and how it can be solved once and for all?
Right. So in the morning before the House actually started, the Northern Caucus, that's MPs from the Northern region especially, met at the Minority Leader's office where they discussed this particular matter. They came out with 2 resolutions: to hold a news conference and to condemn what happened yesterday, and then a further call on the security agencies to do more to ensure that these matters are addressed. Indeed, at that particular meeting, some of the MPs pointed out that the trigger of yesterday could not be the main reason why there's been tension between the police and the military, and that somewhere last month, some members of parliament met the Chief of Defence Staff and the IGP to point out information they had picked from Tamale especially about some tension brewing between the military and the police personnel. And there was therefore the need for the 2 leaders, the Chief of Defence Staff and the IGP, to ensure that they are able to deal with the matter before it becomes something else. Now, what they are saying that the trigger of yesterday was only, for want of a better word, the spark. Indeed, the real issues are yet to be addressed. So they were going to hold a news conference, and later they decided that they should rather present the matter on the floor of Parliament and then seek the Speaker's directive on the matter. And then, if they are unsatisfied, they will come back again to the news conference. Eventually, they decided to go and then speak to the matter on the floor. So that's how come there's no commentary from MPs from the 3 northern regions. What they've done is hold on with any comment that they have until Tuesday, when the 2 ministers appear before the House, provide the answers relating to the directives containing the Speaker's ruling, and then they will take it from there.
Okay. Well, Elton, we'll probably get back to you for what more has been happening on the floor of Parliament. But I have on the line now with me the regional minister, the Northern Regional Minister, Salifu Said. Sir, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. You've just ended your meeting. You briefed the media. Indeed, you say that those who were involved in this will be severely punished. Has it at this point been established those who were involved?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much, and thanks to your cherished listeners. Yes, we have just finished a joint debate of the police and the military sister security institutions. Yesterday, when the incident happened and I was reporting, I reported to my superiors in Accra, that is the seat of government, and the Interior, Defense, National Security. And today they sent a high-powered delegation to come and join me for us to meet the team. So rested together with the Accra delegation from the Interior and National Security as well as IGP office. We met the troops jointly together, addressed them, listened to their concerns, and after that I made it very clear to them that the committee that we have put to pick up the information on the people who really perpetrated this act, especially the issue of the people who were involved in the shooting and what have you, whether that person is a commander, is a deputy commander, junior constable or sergeant, will be dealt with.
Do you not know this? Do you not know this at this point? You are the head of the Security Council in the region. Do you not know who was involved in this?
The investigation is ongoing. You see, sometimes when problems like this happen and you want to rush, immediately it happened last night in the evening. By this morning, if you want to start, you may not even get certain information, especially the security institutions. The military, they have the way they put their disciplinary measures. The police, they also have. And it's so structured that they take the, even though they are within by this, and the command at the regional level, apart from what they do, they also send their secret, their situational reports to the national level, and they revert it back to. So we have to do some countervailing check on the part of whatever information we have, so that when we take the decision, nobody will go and sit somewhere and say, oh, they punish me.
I understand that perfectly, sir. What I'm asking is whether or not we know at this point. The people were out there anyway. They were out, we understand from our reports, that they were out in the public space. People saw them. Have you... Yes.
What is happening, the investigation is ongoing.
Unfortunately, we have lost the minister, the Northern Regional Minister, Salifu Said, there, trying to find out from him whether or not at this point the Security Council has been able to establish who were involved in this rampage. He's spoken about punishment, but we also wanted to find out how this matter will be solved once and for all, because it keeps recurring. Unfortunately, we've lost him. We'll try and raise him and continue the conversation as and when we're able to.